Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. That I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
That's the famous speech by Mr. Gehrig in '39. That was in between games of a doubleheader against Washington, July 4th, against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Nobody knew if Gehrig was actually going to talk that day. And welcome to High Heat with Rich Savino and, of course, Pete Petrosino and Lana here momentarily. Nobody knew that Gehrig was going to talk that day. And he sort of prepared a speech, didn't prepare a speech. We don't have the full speech in hand. But that's a little snippet of it with Lou. The Giants gave him a gift that day, and Babe Ruth showed up, the famous scene of him and Ruth. Remember, they had a falling out, and he showed up, and Gehrig, who had basically took himself out of the lineup, in early May, told Joe McCarthy, "I've had it," which stopped the great streak with ALS and everything else. And most of the fans in the ballpark that day did not exactly know what was wrong with Gehrig. Nobody really knew. They knew something was up, but they didn't know it was life-threatening, I don't think. And as a result, Lou died a couple years later. And this June 2nd, we always celebrate the great Gehrig. He died June 2nd of 1941. Listen, I can go through all the Gehrig numbers if you want me to. He is the greatest hitting first baseman in the history of the sport. With all due respect to Pujols, Jimmy Fox, there's nobody better than him. 18 black types by his name. And remember, he didn't play the last 3-4 years of his career because he was sick. He's got black type all over the place. That's RBIs, that's runs scored, that's batting average, that's on base, that's everything you can possibly think of. And he's an unbelievable World Series participant. He hit, in 119 ABs in the World Series, he hit 361. Now, I know he's got Ruth in the lineup and DiMaggio later, but he hit 361 in 119 World Series at-bats with 10 home runs in 119 World Series at-bats. That is as good as you possibly can be. He was outside of Lou Brock, who was unbelievable in the World Series, very few people in the history of the sport, and that includes Bonds, who didn't do anything in the World Series or anything in the postseason until the 0-2 year against the Angels. He is so good in big spots, it is mind-boggling how good he is in big spots. And another unbelievable scenario with Gehrig is 1938. In 1938, he had ALS. Didn't know it, but he had ALS in 1938. He was sick. The next year, he retired. He couldn't swing a bat. In 38, with that disease, he hit 295 with 29 home runs and 115 RBIs, and the Yankees ended up winning the World Series. He did not hit a home run in that World Series, one of the few World Series didn't ever hit a home run in when they had a 4-game sweep. But he hit 295 that year with the 29 home runs. That was, the great Yankee. Well, that wasn't the great Yankee team. 39 was the unbelievable Yankee team, but that's one of the 4 World Series that the Yankees won in succession between 36 and 39, and of course DiMaggio on that second group of teams. Remember, Gehrig played with Ruth early and then DiMaggio late. He is the one guy that bridges both. Came up in 23. Ruth was there, of course, and DiMaggio came up in 36. And Gehrig, 36, 37, 38, had Joltin' Joe as a teammate. And it took a little pressure off him because the Yankees were not good after Ruth had retired in 34, 35. More on Ruth a little bit later on. But Lou Gehrig Day, always a cherish. One of the great, and of course, the great humble speech. And the Yankees, the curmudgeons, didn't give him a job, barely gave him anything, and had to go work for Florio LaGuardia. That's as bad as it gets. Here's a guy that gave his life to the Yankee organization, and basically they gave him a fishing rod. Hey, see you later, Lou. And he had to go. I didn't give him a job in the organization or anything. He went to go work for LaGuardia, who was the mayor of New York City. Anyway, there you have it, June 2nd, 1941.